Hey y'all, I'm back with a journal with me actually. I'm going to be sharing a quick little process of how I created a page in my 100 Days of Bible Promises. I recently switched this to rings, and so if you want to see that video, I just created it and I'll link that down below. And I basically kind of unbound my other book or debound, I don't know. Anyway, I took all the pages out of the other book and then I tore them all out and then I added them to these rings, and you can kind of see that process. And then I added my own little cover and everything like that too. So the first thing I'm going to do is add some, I love clear stickers. So I'm going to add some stickers kind of around the borders of each one of these pages. And I love that you can take these out and set them on your work surface and work that way versus working inside the book. So I'm just going to roughly cut around these flowers. I've mentioned these printouts before in other videos that I've used them on, but basically if you print on clear sticker paper, which is, I think they're considered like labels, but and I'll link them down below, but if you print on those, then you can kind of roughly cut around the flowers versus like really working hard to fussy cut. They still look like you cut them out perfectly just because the clear sticker paper doesn't show up. So all you see is the color. So I roughly cut those out, and then I'm going to grab a few different scraps of paper that I think I want to use for this process or for these pages. And I'm going to continue cutting these out, and then I'm going to start adding them to the page. At this point, I know that I really like this wood grain pattern, and then I also really like this pink kind of gingham pink. It's kind of a darker pink with a lighter pink gingham, and my nails match. Whenever I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, my nails match this particular paper. But anyway, so I'm just gonna start adding the florals because it will be my background, and then I'm gonna add the embellishments on top. And again, I'm gonna kind of just roughly, I'm not gonna pay too much attention to placement. I'm just gonna roughly add them around the border and then cut the excess off with my scissors and go from there. So at this point, I'm just trying to play around with the scraps that I've set aside. And I know I don't have really an idea of what I want to do other than the fact that I want to highlight some of my favorite parts of this particular verse that talks about the armor of God. And so I kind of had the idea to add some of maybe either some stamping or some words of some of my favorite parts again. But as far as like the embellishments, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do. So I'm just kind of playing around for a little bit. I added a little bit of floral washi kind of underneath the scraps. And then right now I'm just kind of looking at another black and white washi just to see if that's something I want to add. And I do add a couple little pieces there at the bottom corner and then the top corner as well. And I do like that little pop of black and white that gives, and especially because I'll be using black ink, so I think it kind of all comes together in the end. Okay, so we are now on a different day actually. And so I actually had a question not that long ago from somebody who's asked how I have time to scrapbook or do anything creative with young kids and working full time. And I honestly just make time. It's kind of like with anything else. Sometimes the morning is the best time for me to scrap, or like the weekends. And once lots of times before my kids get up, or if my husband's up in the morning, he'll take the kids and I'll work on my little projects, and I might get like 15 or 20 minutes done, but that's kind of enough for me to get started with my day. And then I'll go to work and come back. I'm normally not crafting in the evening just because I'm pretty tired from work. Um, but I do sometimes I break up my projects because I might start a project and then I don't get to finish it because I've got to get to work. But all that to say, that's why you'll kind of see my entire outfit and nails and stuff like that switch. So at this point, I grabbed some, they're called Chronicle Type. These are close to my heart stamps, and I'm so in love with these small little typewriter fonts. And I decided to pull those and go ahead and highlight some of my favorite parts of this particular verse. And so the armor of God basically like highlights that you have to have like the helmet of salvation, the belt of truth, the sword of the spirit, the feet protected by the gospel, breastplate of righteousness, and the shield of faith. And so I wanted to kind of highlight those, the first part of each one of those, if that makes sense. So I did the breastplate, the shoes, the belt, the sword, the shield, and that kind of thing. So I really love this verse. I think it makes so much sense for how we are to stand against like worldly things and against evil. And it seems simple, but kind of having all of these different things in line makes sense to how we like fight against all the different like bad thoughts, or all different things that are going on in the world and that kind of thing. So anyway, all that to say, I really wanted to highlight some of those. And so I did stamp on some of the labels. And then I also did a little bit of stamping like on the page itself. And then the last thing I'm going to do is use these, I think they're Studio Calico, I'm not 100% sure, but these little sketchy like block letters to spell out triumphant, because I think that makes sense. Like when we use these things that are of the armor of God, then we can be triumphant in fighting those battles. So that is kind of my process and my thought process behind all of this. I had so much fun creating this. It was pretty quick, actually. I think overall it maybe took like 20 minutes ish. That's kind of a guess, but that's kind of what I'm thinking. But I had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy this process, and let me know if you want to see more of this, and I certainly will upload those. Talk to you later. Bye.